back to the shop, everyone. Mudford here. If you watched my last video from Rocky Mountain Race Week, you saw me get beat pretty easily by Stapleton 42. This car on paper should have went a lot faster than it did. So we're going to try to work through some of the little bugs that we have now and see if we can get it where it should be. So Mitchell's a pretty cool guy. We talked to him after racing and quite a bit before even. You might have seen me in his video and actually doing some recording for him on his whole little rivalry with Chet. He gave me some suspension tuning tips that he does with his Escalade. We're going to have to modify his tips a little bit for this car because it's not quite the same, of course, as a 2,000 horsepower Escalade, but we can use the same concept. So we're going to attack our traction problem that we have threefold. So the first thing we're going to do tonight is we're going to put some shorter dog bones in here. And what that's going to do is just bring this motor forward a little bit. And what that does is it gets some of your weight out here. That's going to help with launching. We're going to go ahead and do that first. So the trick we're going to use from him is for the front suspension. This is my old strut that I removed. What he said to do is use a ratchet strap, which seems kind of ghetto, but that's what he uses even on his high-end Escalade. We're going to try to come up with something hopefully a little better, but our problem is this. We have a strut. I was planning on hooking up here and ratcheting it down to here, but that won't work because the bottom part's going to spin and this part here is going to stay stationary. So we're going to have to come up with a way to fasten it here so that our top part is fastened to a spot that spins. Otherwise this isn't going to work. And what he did was ratchet strapped and compressed his spring a little bit. Just a little, and it keeps it from raising up. So you can buy limit straps. Guys use those a lot four-wheeling. So we're going to go ahead and try to figure something out with this. Maybe we'll just hook it to the top coil of the spring. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Now the problem with the rear suspension is it's going to want to squat when you take off. All these things are what you want in a rear wheel drive car, but we don't want them. They hurt us with our front wheel drive car. So we're going to try to stop the flex in the front, and we're going to try to stop the squish in the rear. So what we're going to probably do is get some of those blocks that fit right in here. And I seen there's quite a few of them that like zip tie in. So when we get to the track, we can raise the back end of the car, get the spring to separate hopefully a little bit. Put them in, zip tie them in, and they will make the rear suspension much stiffer. So here's our shorter dog bone. So you can see it's just going to pull the motor ahead. My only concern is that it's going to rock it up a little bit, and we don't really have a ton of clearance with our intercooler because that raises the supercharger up a couple inches. So that's my only concern, but we're going to go ahead and grab these out and put our new ones in. So this is the ZZP short one here. You can see the difference. The biggest thing I don't like, I'm a big fan of ZZP, but you can see these bushings do not go together very well. It's kind of a tight fit. I wondered when I bought these why the bushing wasn't in. It's because it doesn't fit very good, so they wanted me to have to do it, I guess. So I got the one pulled out. Looks a little, I guess it's lined up okay. We're gonna go ahead and pull this other one now. And we're going to get it started up here because it's such a tight fit in here with the bushing. You can see it's pretty snug, whereas this one, you've got a little bit of room. Okay, we got everything tightened up, and it did pull everything forward, obviously, which is what we wanted. So what you need to do is double check all your clearances. Like, we're really close on the fan right there. It's like the header is against the fan. We have it wrapped. Hopefully that'll help that fan survive. I don't know what else to do right now. Everything else looks good. It's gonna put the exhaust pretty close to the header, pretty close to the floorboard. So I don't know how well this is gonna work. My suspension limiting straps came today. I just picked these up from Summit Racing. They got them here in a day, which is really good. So I've come up with a few different plans. I was gonna try to hook it here and then to the A-arm, but I thought if I got it leaning out like this, it'll just let it swing anyway. It won't really limit anything. So my plan now is to make a plate that goes across here and then make something up at the top. When I'm at the track and I'm gonna put the R888s on, I'll pull my street tires off and then I'll pop these in here, tighten them up, and then throw the R888 on, tighten it up, and then we'll be ready to go. So I've got 4 of these, 2 for each side on the rear. Thinking I should have got a little thicker. These are like 1 inch thick. Between the coils, I probably should have went with 1.5 inches, I'm guessing. So what I'm doing is I'm putting some heater hose around the coil spring to make it a little thicker so that these will fit in there good. And then I'm drilling holes in these and zip tying them. So I'll probably have a few zip ties in each one. They'll be pretty quick to take out, I think, because I'll just have to snip a couple of zip ties and then they'll pop right out. It'll be a little bit longer getting the zip ties in and getting them in the coils. But I'll show you that later. So I've been working on this limit strap. Here is my top mount. Coil spring is going to go through there and here. It's going to be way up high. I'm going to drill a 1/2 inch hole here. And here's my other piece. I just bent some steel. I didn't have to drill it. What I did is I just notched it with the grinder. And now it's all set to go. I'm going to get this in here. And then I'm going to figure out where I need to drill my holes at. To make sure I have it lifted off the jack stand so that the suspension is fully compressed to normal ride height. I don't want it to be able to move up 1 inch off of normal ride height. So what this is going to do is keep the suspension from lifting up in the front. I'm doing it kind of quick because I'm racing this tomorrow with the K-Town Showdown. So I'm not painting it, I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm going to drill 2 1/2 inch holes and weld 1/2 inch nuts onto here, the back side of here, and the back side of here on the top. And then what I'm probably going to be able to do is I'll probably end up leaving this in, even though it kind of sucks. But it doesn't hit anything, so I think it might be all right. And then I will just take the strap when I'm off, when I'm not using it. Like for the winter, I imagine I'll take this whole piece off and probably just leave that bracket on all winter because it's not going to hurt anything. But hopefully this will get us, combined with the rear blocks to hold the back from squatting, hopefully this will get us to get some better traction and get this car into the 12s. Now we won't know for sure if we're in the 12s, but we can kind of extrapolate it because we're going to be running the 8th mile tomorrow. And I'm counting a victory as anything in the 8.1s would be under 12 seconds. I also swapped down to a 2.8 pulley from a 3.0 pulley, so we're getting a little more boost with no knock retard. This ethanol is great. So I am really hoping we can get into the 8.1s or even 8.0s would be awesome tomorrow. So I'm just going to continue. I'm going to fit this, test fit this in, and I'll show you once I get it in with the strap on this side, and then I'll also show you the back when I get 2 of the rubber bushings in there. Okay, I was hoping to avoid most of the ghetto fabness, but when I lowered it down, when I had this strap on here, what it did was it just pulled down on this side of the spring, and it just kind of went, and it still had full droop, which is not what we want. So what I ended up doing was hooking a ratchet strap up on the other side and tightening it up pretty tight. And then now it only has a very little bit of play. So I guess that's the way we're going to have it tomorrow for the race. And what I'm going to have to do, if I want this to be good, is remake this with a double end here, and then put another bracket just like this on this side, and buy another strap and have a strap on both sides of it. Then it should work. But for now, we're going to have to go with the strap on one side, ratchet strap on the other, and it should hold as long as the ratchet strap doesn't break. So this is what it looks like with 2 of the spring spacers in. If it still squats in the rear at this race, I have enough room I can add 1 more spring spacer up there, and I'll pretty much have no travel in the back, which might be what it needs in order to not squat. Still spinning bad. Probably not going to be any faster than the last time. Thank you.
Yep.